Hello everyone, this is PHTV4. I'm Sue Jankowski, and we are meeting with Moraine. Today we have Kent Marshall with us. Welcome, Kent, to our program today.
Thank you.
It's nice to have you here. Kent is Dean of Students at Moraine Valley Community College, and now we all know where that is. It's right in Palos Hills. It's our local community college, and we talk about it every month. And we get someone to come in and tell us about their role at the college. And today we're really lucky that Kent's going to talk to us, because I think that the Dean of Students, sometimes we think of the Dean of Students that, you know, maybe is it like in high school or whatever. We don't know where it travels to. So I'm really interested in this role that you have there. But before we talk about that, I'd like to know a little, about your background and how did you land in Moraine Valley?
Okay, sure. Well, I'm going to take you on a little journey, so bear with me.
I'm going.
So many, many years ago, when I was in college, I really consider myself an involved student. I was involved in organizations. I participated in intramural athletics. I went to sporting events. If you can't tell, this is a Mississippi accent, and the SEC is a big deal down there, so a lot of athletics that I attended as well. I was a student recruiter to recruit potential students to our institution. So just a really involved time there that I really enjoyed. After my 4 years, I was ready to graduate, but not ready to leave the college environment. And so I started looking for jobs in higher education. I found a residence life position at another institution. And I've been working in higher education ever since. So for the past 32 years, I've worked in residence life, student activities, orientation, admissions, student conduct, lots of several different areas in student development. During that time, I worked on my master's degree in student personnel services and received that and continue to work in higher education. Soon after I got my master's, I met my wife. She was working on her PhD program, got accepted to a PhD program in Texas, so that got us over to Texas. Soon after she received her PhD, she applied for a position, for a visiting professor position in Ohio. So that's what kind of got us up in this part of the woods, right?
That way.
And that was a 3-year position for her. I was fortunate enough to find a job in student affairs as well at a university in the area. At the end of that 3 years of her visiting professor position, we were both looking for jobs to see where we were going to be next. I won that race, and that's what brought us over to Illinois, and me to my first experience at a 2-year public community college at Moraine Valley as the Dean of Students.
Wow, okay, so that's kind of fun. You started in a place and kind of moved around and got a feel for different jobs. You've had many, and it's nice that you won the race eventually. It evens it out a little bit.
Right, yeah.
That's great, and yes, I do notice the accent. I just love a Southern accent because everything sounds nice. It's like it's kind. So I'm glad that you're here with us today, and I would love to know exactly what your role is. I mean, I'm seeing, some of the things that you would be involved in, and some of them are kind of surprising to me. Like typically, what is the role of the Dean of Students in either, first of all, do they have it in a 4-year institution, or is it more found in a 2-year institution?
Yeah, there would be Dean of Students at 4-year institutions as well. That title might mean different things at different locations. At Moraine Valley, the areas that I'm responsible for are our student life side of things, so the fun things, but then also our code of student conduct, so the not so fun things, the following the rules. And sometimes that might be with the traditional Dean of Students position, but at Moraine and at many institutions, they kind of balance out that a little bit with different things. So with the student life side at Moraine Valley, so that constitutes our clubs and organizations, some leadership opportunities as well for students, some general activities and events that students can get involved in. So that's kind of the fun side of things. Our student publications, so our Glacier student newspaper is under me. And then on the code of conduct side, that's our area that helps to educate our students of expectations that the college has for them to be in our community, and enforcing that code of student conduct as well. But then I also work with our student trustee, an elected position that represents our students on the Board of Trustees. And then I also work with selected student graduation speakers as well, formulate and revise policies and procedures as needed and things like that. But that's pretty traditional at other institutions, I believe.
Well, you're wearing a lot of hats then, really. You're kind of the person who has to make sure that the rules, code of conduct is being followed, but then you get to do some happy things too. Not that that's not happy.
Yeah, no, it's a nice balance.
It is, yeah.
And that's where the Southern accent comes into play, when the not so fun things,
right.
Delivering that bad news.
It doesn't sound as bad.
To the students it might.
Yeah, well, probably. But when I want to do, when I hear that, I think nice. Okay, so you have a lot of responsibilities, actually, and you're wearing a lot of hats. So I think it's a little bit different to me than, say, a high school dean of students. I always thought of that as, here's the principal, here's the dean. The dean, carries the hammer, and that's kind of their role. But this is much broader than that. I'd like to talk about these co-curricular activities, because that's a big part of what you are supervising or initiating, and I'm not sure which one. So I'm sure there's like groups, clubs, events, whatever, that are typically at the school, but maybe you could explain what those are, how students get involved, how do they know about it, and is that something that typically those students would want to be involved in?
Mm-hmm. Sure. Yeah, we have over 25 clubs and organizations that students can get involved in. We've got 5 kind of different categories that I put them in. They might be academic in nature, so something like our American Sign Language Club, our Cybersecurity Club, Psychology, STEM Club, things that can be connected with an academic department. Fine arts, so our Art Appreciation Club, our Tritones Music Club fit into that category. We have several cultural clubs, whether it's our Alliance of Latin American Students, the Arab Student Union, Black Student Association, and then what I kind of call special interest, that might be our Christian Fellowship Club, our Gender and Sexual Progress Club, our LGBTQIA plus club, our Muslim Student Association, and then some hobbies as well, and some clubs that kind of fall into that category are our Anime Club, our Dungeons and Dragons Club, Video Game Club, so several different opportunities of club involvement. Then we also have some organizations as well, our Inter-Club Council that kind of looks over all of the clubs and dictates things and helps them with what they can do. Our Student Government Association, our Forensics, which is our award-winning speech team, our Glacier, the student newspaper that I mentioned earlier. We also have a veterans organization, Boots to College, that is trying to get back up and running this semester. They've not been as active in the recent history, but they're interested in getting started back up as well. So lots of clubs and organizations. But then our student life side also sponsors many activities and events for the whole general population, whether it be our welcome days to make sure that new students understand what possibilities there are to get involved on campus, our Fall Fest and Cyclone Palooza. These are kind of outdoor festivals that we have where clubs and organizations and different departments on campus are involved to help educate students about opportunities that they can provide them to be successful on campus. Then we also just offer a lot of space for students to interact with each other. A game room where you can relax with friends, so lots of opportunities to interact with fellow students through our area.
I think that's probably so important. I mean, it's important at all levels, but especially at a community college where everybody is, in their own homes or apartments or whatever, and you don't have necessarily that dorm life experience where you're meeting with a lot of other students. And so how do you get them connected to each other? Well, it would be through some of these organizations. Do you find that there's a lot of student involvement with these? I'm sure there's probably more with some than others, but do they well attended? Do the kids really, students, young people, do they really like belonging to these organizations?
Yeah, we have many students who are involved in several and more than one club, because they do like to come on campus and then kind of stick around all day and have something to do in between those class times. Our area is located in the cafeteria, so where a lot of people naturally hang out, where we've got some activities and events, and where our office is located, where students can learn about these different clubs on campus. But yeah, during COVID, when we were remote and everybody suffered with having to some involvement that students had, high schools included, I'm sure. Things were, it was not a fun time for us then, but we're getting back to normal. Our clubs we're getting more and more clubs each semester that are wanting to charter, to start up, so that students can learn about what they're interested in. So yes, we're seeing more and more student involvement. Every semester it seems like more activity on campus, more buzz on campus, and more people involved in not only student life events, but other events that we have on campus as well.
You mentioned the COVID time, and I have found with a lot of organizations or groups, it has taken a long time to come back from that. It was like nothing, and then it kind of drips and drabs got started again. So I'm glad to hear that they're being able to, hey, I can do this, and also searching for a connection with other people, especially at this level where you were in high school or you were out of high school for a while and you're coming back and all of those friends are elsewhere. So now you got to kind of start all over again. So this is a great opportunity to meet a lot of people.
Yeah, and that's what we're all about, is engaging students, connecting them with new friends and opportunities for them to connect with others on campus. So, yeah.
With these groups, are there like responsible adult kind of sponsor, or they're old enough to kind of conduct their own group, or how does that work? Plus, I'm wondering, I just want to start a group myself. And I want to have my own group. How would they, and can they do that? And how would they go about doing that?
Right, yeah. Our clubs and organizations are required to have a faculty or staff advisor, but they are certainly student run. Advisors are there just to help make sure that they understand college expectations and policies and are approving some things before they complete some information for us. But students have leadership roles in these clubs. They're setting goals. They're planning events and activities. So very, very much involved in the student side of things for these clubs. And this is a great opportunity for them to gain leadership opportunities, work on their communication skills, their people skills, and how to manage conflict with maybe another club member or another student. So it's a great opportunity for students to do that. If a student is interested in starting a club that we don't have, we do like for them to meet with our manager of student life, to visit with them about what their goals are, what they'd like their club to do, what they'd like to see. And this is a time for our manager to assess, maybe we've already got a club with similar interests that this student just might not be aware of, so we can connect them to that group. If not, and if it's something that we feel like meets the mission of the college and complements our core values, then the club can start the process of chartering. Again, they would be required to find a faculty or staff advisor. And we like to have at least 10 students show interest in the club. We want to make sure that it can sustain itself and not fizzle out after 1 or 2 students might graduate soon. And so we want to make sure that we've got a good number of students involved. And then there's some paperwork that they fill out. Our manager of student life would take a look at that. If all of that checks out and is fine, then they could be presented to our inter-club council for kind of the formal recognition at that time.
Okay, so there is a process that they would need to go through, and it would have to be kind of a sanctioned club that made sense for your community there.
Yes, and the reason for that, a positive for that, is our recognized clubs and organizations can reserved space for meetings and for activities and events and things like that that we don't offer for outside groups.
Okay. What about like service projects? Are any of these clubs involved in service project, or it's like a natural outcoming of that particular club? I mean, something like maybe like a Dungeons and Dragons kind of club. Maybe they wouldn't have a service project. I don't know. Maybe they would to go teach people how to play, Dungeons and Dragons. I don't know. But it would be nice if they could do like some kind of service projects. There's so much need for people's help.
Right. Yeah, we encourage all of our clubs, no matter what their vision is, what their purpose is, to do some community service projects, and they always do a great job. We always have clubs that are collecting donations for whether it's toys for children, it might be hygiene products or food for our on-campus Project Care food pantry. We've got students who make handmade cards for children who are spending the holidays in the hospital, toy drives, coat drives, lots of things that our clubs and organizations do for community, sponsorships, but then also around the country as well. Something else that we've done recently and have done annually that Student Life in general connects with our Fit Rec Center to put on a volleyball tournament where the proceeds go to the Susan G. Komen Breast Cancer Foundation, and it's called Big Pink Volleyball. So teams are formulated, and you pay a registration for the teams. You can buy T-shirts, but the catch is the volleyball is about 4 feet in diameter. Oh. So it's a fun event, and a great way to raise some money for a great cause. We've done that for the past 4 years. And the participation is just picking up, and in this last year, we raised over $3,200 for Susan G. Komen. So
well, that's great.
Lots of opportunities for students to learn about how to give back to the community and to be able to plug in somewhere.
That's great. And plus, not that you do things for a specific reason, but I'm feeling like if you're going to apply to a 4-year college or you're filling out a job resume, some of these clubs kind of lend themselves to putting that on your resume, that you did this or you sponsored something in particular. I would think that would be kind of a nice catch for them to be able to do that. I don't know if they do that or what.
Yeah, absolutely. Not only to help with transferring to 4-year institutions on their admissions application, but also for scholarship opportunities. Oftentimes, there might be an essay that's required that talks about leadership opportunities that you've had before coming to this institution, of how are you going to be able to contribute here as well. So yeah, it's valuable experience that not only will help them, in my belief, not only help them when they transfer to a 4-year institution, but it's going to help them in life, in that job, in those job interviews, and working on their resume and things like that, things that they can put on that are helping to not only to complement all of those great grades that they're making, hopefully in the classes and their majors, but then all the extracurricular activity involvement that they have that will certainly be beneficial for them.
Yeah, it really makes you a more well-rounded person too. It gives you insight into other groups of people and what they are like, and it's just makes you, a more well-rounded person. So that's really great.
Absolutely.
And you mentioned this volleyball game, which sounds like a lot of fun, and you can't miss, if you've got the big volleyball.
Well, you can. I did a few times, so
okay,
you can.
It can happen. Okay, even this huge pink ball, that's funny and cute, and that's what makes it fun. But you've got something called a student run as well, or they're just student-run groups, I guess. It's not really a student run. But besides this volleyball, is there like another outdoor activity they do? Like marathon or like a fun run kind of thing?
Right, yeah. Several of our clubs have partnered with outside agencies to hold 5Ks on our campus for certain causes and things like that. So yeah, lots of opportunities there. Also, our Fit Rec Center host a Halloween 5K every year. And we have many of our students from our clubs who volunteer to kind of work along the route of that, to give out water and to make sure people stay on course and to help with
nice.
the kids dash and things like that, that many of our clubs are volunteering for those opportunities.
Yeah, that sounds like, it sounds good. So you feel like you get a pretty good cut of students, you know, being interested in doing some of the clubs and organizations and service projects at school.
Yeah, yes, and we get a wide variety of students. You know, at community colleges we have traditional age college students, we have some returning students, and we find that students of all ages are participating in our clubs and organizations. So even if they have a family or already have a career, many of them are trying to find time in between their classes and family obligations to still be involved in some way on campus, because I think that they know that sense of belonging is so important in that college experience.
Well, it is, and also if any of them, it sounds like all of them at some point do some kind of volunteer or service project kind of thing, that's just a good feeling to participate in that, and that gives you like the path to be able to do that when you're out of school too. You know, realize that, you know, people do need your help. Right,
and not only, you know, even if a student is not able to be involved in a club for whatever reason, time conflicts and things like that, there's still all of our clubs, when they're doing these service projects, it's open for the community to, you know, they're calling on the community to donate food items or coats and things like that. So it's always incredible to see how our students, our faculty, and our staff members on campus are contributing to all of these drives and you know, donating money and all of that to these efforts, because they know how important it is to give back to the community. And sometimes for some of our students, this might be the first time that they see or have this opportunity themselves. Maybe their family as a whole has given contributions and things, or maybe mom says, hey, let's clean out our closets or our toys to donate. But this is something that they get to do on their own, which is so important. We also have we have had in the past blood drives and voter registration drives, so it's more than just giving items, but giving blood to make sure that people who need that during certain times of the season have that. Learning how to register to vote and vote and have their voice heard in that way as well. So many opportunities for our students to get involved in the community.
That sounds great. And yeah, I think getting them to realize they're, you know, vote. And to do that, you have to register, and there it is, right there. It makes it easy for them to do that, and it's important to be able to do that for the rest of your life. So some of these things they're just learning to do. A lot of them are so young, that's exactly when you would start to do it, at age 18.
Right.
So that is great. Well, it just sounds like there's a lot of great opportunities. You know, every time I talk to somebody like you from Moraine Valley Community College, I find that the staff, the students, everybody is working toward the goal of being involved in the community and, you know, kind of making life better for themselves, their family, and outside the community too. And everybody seems to like, it seems to be, from my perspective, kind of a nice family kind of atmosphere where people care about one another, and I like that.
Yeah, and you know, with our clubs and organizations, they might be smaller than what you find at a four-year institution, but just like our class sizes, it's a great opportunity to get that personal attention, to take some good leadership roles, that maybe you have more competition if there's more students involved and that type thing. So it's a great opportunity for students to plug in, learn some great skills that they can take on with them to that four-year institution, to that job, in life in general.
Good. I agree. And we always encourage our viewers that, you know, go over to Moraine Valley Community College. You know, bring your young people over there, because this might be a great jumping off point. You know, maybe you aren't ready to go to a four-year school, or you're just not sure what you want to do, and so you start at that two-year institution. It's a great school, it's economical, and it's local, and it's all good things. I think if they can take advantage, go over there sometime and check it out.
Yeah, we'd love to have them.
Kent, is there anything else that we should know about being the Dean of Students?
Well, you know, on the student life side of things, we love to have fun on campus, and I firmly believe that education is more than just in the classroom. all of the things that you get involved in outside the classroom, your interactions with other students, interactions with faculty and staff members are going to truly be valuable. And so we just hope that students will come and check us out if they've not had the opportunity yet, so that they can get involved and learn all of the great things that we have to offer at Moraine.
Sounds good. Well, thanks for coming today.
Thank you for having me.
I appreciate your time, and I hope you enjoyed learning about, oh gosh, just everything else that you can do. There's beyond academics, and there's a person who can guide you through some of the things and challenges you might have at school. If you have questions about protocol or whatever, you can go to your office, I would imagine.
Absolutely, yes. we answer all kinds of questions for
Okay.
students and direct them into the right office if need be.
Perfect. All right. Well, thanks for watching us today. We will see you next month on Meet with Moraine when we talk to someone else with great information. Have a great day. Bye now.